news that's coming in right now. Those are visuals of a protest at the Jama Masjid in Delhi. This protest after former BJP spokesperson Nupur Sharma made some inflammatory statements on a televised debate. Remember, the BJP took action against her and removed her from all her assigned responsibilities in the party and suspended her as well, pending further inquiry. Protests have been happening across the country, and these are visuals that are coming in from the national capital. Protests, in fact, slogans being raised against Nupur Sharma. My colleague Amit Bhardwaj is on the phone line with me from Delhi. Amit, protests seem to have broken out outside Jama Masjid in Delhi against the statement which was made by Nupur Sharma in a televised debate.
Absolutely right, Polemy. That is the situation right now on the ground, right outside Jama Masjid. There's a huge crowd, very angry and aggressive right now, who are sloganeering against Nupur Sharma, against Naveen Kumar Jindal for the comments that they had made, on social media platform and on a specific TV debate show. So the community, Muslim community, the minority community is really angry because of the statements that were made against the Prophet Mohammad, and they are demanding the arrest of these two former BJP leaders. So clearly there were, speculations and expectations that anger might spill over in the society, in the minority community, because of the kind of statements that were made by the former BJP leaders. And clearly it is also now reflecting on the ground right now. So Delhi's biggest mosque, Jama Masjid, is witnessing angry crowds, people sloganeering against Nupur Sharma, against Naveen Kumar Jindal, and they are demanding arrest of the two former BJP leaders for the comments that they had made, derogatory comments that they had made on social media platform and on a TV debate show. Over to you, Polemy.
Right. So Amit Bhardwaj, they're getting us those exclusive visuals of those protests which have broken out outside Jama Masjid in Delhi after Friday prayers. Those slogans being raised against former BJP spokesperson Nupur Sharma and former BJP Delhi media cell head Naveen Jindal for their remarks against Prophet Mohammad. Amit, also, we'll try and reconnect with my colleague Amit Bhardwaj. Remember, Delhi police in fact registered an FIR yesterday against several such inflammatory speeches, as they deemed, that have been made by various persons. It included Nupur Sharma. Nupur Sharma has been named in that FIR. Others have also been named in that FIR, including AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi, who of course countered the Delhi police's FIR and said, I don't know what my crime is. But as you can see, protests have broken out in the national capital now. Slogans being raised after Friday prayers outside the Jama Masjid in the national capital against Nupur Sharma and Naveen Kumar Jindal of the Bharatiya Janata Party, who were recently in fact removed from the party. Nupur Sharma having been suspended pending further inquiry, and Naveen Kumar Jindal, who has been expelled from the party for their remarks against Prophet Mohammad. There has been a lot of social media outrage as well about this, and then of course the backlash, the diplomatic backlash as well, that the Indian government had to face from various Arab nations as well over those remarks that were made by the two BJP leaders. My colleague Amit Bhardwaj is back on the phone line with me right now. Amit, also give us more details about the Delhi police's FIR against individuals who they believe to have made inflammatory remarks over the past weeks, which of course included Nupur Sharma as well. How is that case progressing at the moment?
Well, Polemy, we know for a matter of fact that two FIRs have been already registered by the Delhi police. One FIR has been registered against Nupur Sharma for the derogatory remarks that he had made on a TV show against Prophet Mohammad. So that is a separate FIR on which the action will be taken. There's another FIR which has been registered by the IFSO unit of the Delhi police. This is a special unit of Delhi police which has made, has actually made a profile of certain individuals and identified them. And, they have been accused or alleged of making inflammatory statements or statements which could affect the peace and tranquility, or spreading misinformation on the cyberspace. And the Delhi police in that particular FIR has said that there are chances that because of the statements that are being made on social media continuously by these individuals, the social fabric of the country could be affected in the physical space as well. And this particular FIR, Polemy, includes several names, including MIM chief Asad Owaisi, former BJP leader Naveen Kumar Jindal, controversial public figures such as Yati Narsinghanand, Pooja Shakun Pandey, who are known for their controversial and communally charged statements. So clearly the FIR has been registered yesterday. The investigation would take its own time. There will be different round of questioning with the individuals, and after that we could see some real action panning out. Over to you,
Amit, is the Delhi police considering sending summons out to these individuals? Because we do believe that Nupur Sharma has received at least one summons which has been sent to her from the Mumbai police, and they have asked her to join the investigation and come and record her statement in Mumbai on June 22nd.
Well, Polemy, there's an entire due process of law that needs to be followed up. So yesterday the FIR has been registered. Now there will be obviously summons sent out to the accused individuals in both the FIRs, and there are possibilities as well because that many of these people who have been named in the FIR are residents of Delhi. So in that case, what we normally see is the Delhi police informs the accused person to come and join the investigation, to join the round of questioning. But for the individuals who are not in Delhi, they would be obviously sent out written summons to asking them to join the investigation so that, the investigation could be carried forward. And, the other steps of the entire due process of the law can be followed up by Delhi police as far as these two FIRs are concerned.
Right. Amit, stay on with us. Those are pictures that we're getting to you from outside Jama Masjid in the national capital, where protests have broken out after the Friday press. There's sloganeering that's happening, as you can see on your screens right now. These are protesters who are demanding that action should be taken against Nupur Sharma and Naveen Kumar Jindal for their statements against Prophet Mohammad. Remember, the Bharatiya Janata Party first issued a statement and then, of course, suspended Nupur Sharma from the party pending further inquiry. In fact, removed her from all sorts of assigned responsibilities that she had in the party, including that of a spokesperson, and Naveen Kumar Jindal, who in fact was the BJP media cell head of the Delhi unit of the party, was expelled from the party as well. Since then, Amit, Nupur Sharma claims that she's been receiving death threats, rape threats, and there is a threat to her security, her family's security as well, because of which Delhi police has provided her with additional security. Bring us more details on that, Amit.
For a matter of fact, that after these statements went viral on the social media platforms, there was continuous calls for her arrest, and there were demands from across the country, from different individuals, that Nupur Sharma should be booked and she should be arrested for the derogatory comments that she had made during a TV debate show. Now, what happens next is that you also have another BJP leader making such statement on social media platforms, and eventually the criticism from the Gulf countries and the suspension, all these happened. But there's another aspect to it. As soon as the video went viral on the social media platform, Nupur Sharma claimed that, she has been receiving several threats, including phone calls, messages, and she felt that there's threat to her life, threat to her security of her family, and that is why Delhi police had provided her security, additional security, so that her safety, there's no compromise to her safety. This is, again, if any individual who has a threat perception reaches out to the police and shows all the documents and evidences as to what is the threat that they are facing, the police normally provide security, and this is similarly the security has been provided to Nupur Sharma, especially because in her case the threat is very apparent, and she had claimed that there has been a floodgate of threats that she had been receiving on her mobile phone, on her WhatsApp, through letters, and all those events had started only after the statement that she had made on a TV debate went viral on social media platforms.
Right, Amit, stay on with us. Those visuals, those pictures, exclusive images that we're bringing to you on India Today right now of protests that have broken out outside the Jama Masjid in Delhi, in the national capital. These are protesters who are demanding that strict action needs to be taken by the police against Nupur Sharma and Naveen Kumar Jindal of the Bharatiya Janata Party for their words against Prophet Mohammad. Remember, Nupur Sharma, in fact, had gone on a televised debate and made some objectionable statements against Prophet Mohammad, after which there was a lot of social media outrage and backlash that the BJP faced.
अंदर की तरफ हम लोग बाहर की तरफ जा रहे हैं।
Those are images that we're getting to you exclusively from Jama Masjid in Delhi, where the Friday prayers happened. And just after the prayers, you can see protests, in fact, have broken out outside the Jama Masjid. Protesters demanding strict action against Nupur Sharma and Naveen Kumar Jindal. Remember, the Delhi police has, in fact, registered an FIR against several persons who they allege to have, in fact, inflamed communal passions with their speeches, with their tweets, their remarks on social media and otherwise as well, which includes Nupur Sharma and Naveen Kumar Jindal as well. This, of course, is the big blowback of the Prophet remark which was made by Nupur Sharma and Naveen Kumar Jindal. Protests, as you can see now, in the national capital. Protesters demanding that the Delhi police needs to act immediately and take action against Nupur Sharma and Naveen Jindal. Amit, describe these visuals to us. Of course, we can see several people over there who have in fact gathered outside the mosque after the Friday prayers to demand that action should be taken. Take us through those visuals, and of course, what are they demanding?
Well, Paulami, we know for a matter of fact that Jama Masjid is Delhi's one of the oldest and biggest mosques. So the capacity of the mosque is quite huge. And today being Friday, the number, the footfall who come to Jama Masjid to offer Friday prayers naturally increases, and there's a huge surge. Now on Friday, as you can see in the visuals, there are a large number of people on the stairs of Jama Masjid. They are standing, they are sloganeering continuously, and they are apparently angry because of the kind of statements that were made by these two former BJP leaders. And you could hear them sloganeering against Nupur Sharma because the anger against Nupur Sharma is specifically even more because she had made certain derogatory comments on a video on a TV debate show. So clearly people are more angry towards her, and they are sloganeering against Nupur Sharma. They are sloganeering against Nupur Sharma. They are demanding her arrest, and they are demanding that action should be taken against these two BJP leaders. So all that is visible in the visuals that we are showing on India Today. Hundreds of people standing on the stairs of Jama Masjid, protesting against these slogans, the comments that were made out by the two former BJP leaders. And they are also demanding that these two former BJP leaders should be arrested and legal action should be taken against them.
Amit, it appears that as far as the BJP's woes are concerned, they are far from over, because they must have thought that after the action that they took as a party against the two leaders, Nupur Sharma and Naveen Kumar Jindal, possibly the issue, the controversy around their statements will die out. But the blowback continues to hit them in the face.
Well, what is Paulami, that's to the problem for BJP is yet from over, and people are angry right now. And even in Jama Masjid area, there are continuous sloganeering which is happening, and the Delhi police is trying to control the situation. They're dispersing the crowd. So that is the situation in the ground right now.
Right. Okay. So the Delhi police is trying to control the situation, is what you're telling us right now. But are the protesters still there? Are they still holding their ground and protesting, sloganeering at this moment, Amit, as we speak?
Because the Friday prayers are in a way, for majority of the people, it's over. They had gathered outside on the stairs of Jama Masjid, and that situation has, in a way, slowly calmed down. But you could see hundreds of people on the ground right now, raising slogans on the streets, and Delhi police is also moving around in the area to make sure the law and order situation is controlled and maintained.
Okay. Amit, did the Delhi police have prior information about this protest as well? Because like you said, it's a very sensitive situation. After all, they have the right to protest, but it is very communally sensitive and law and order could take a turn for the worse. So were they prepared for the situation in terms of having boots on the ground?
Well, because there was no call given out for a planned protest outside Jama Masjid today, so that is why you would not see a large security deployment which normally happens if there is a declared call for any sort of protest outside Jama Masjid. But the local police station has responded to the situation. They are trying to calm down the people, and we also know for a matter of fact that Jama Masjid area also has a peace committee, which is very much functional. So the Aman committee or the peace committee in this particular area also chips in whenever the situation is required. And they come in place. They try to calm down people along with the Delhi police officials. So that is the usual, SOP that is executed in tense situations like this one. And I can also see, on the ground right now, Delhi police officials, standing there, and along with that, Aman committee people are standing here, and they are trying to make sure that there is complete safety for people. The situation is under control, and there is also safety for the media personnel who are deployed on the ground right now.
Right. Amit, stay on with us. We're, of course, bringing pictures, live pictures, viewers, from outside the Jama Masjid, one of the largest mosques in the country. This is the national capital where protests have broken out after the Friday prayers against former BJP leaders Nupur Sharma and Naveen Kumar Jindal for their remarks against Prophet Mohammad. Remember, there's been a massive blowback of their remarks. There was social media outrage, and there was, of course, the diplomatic outrage as well, which was in fact faced by envoys in Arab nations as well, where they categorically then stated to these Arab countries that India does in fact believe in equality of all religions, and we do not support the statements which have been made. So those are visuals that are coming in from the national capital, but protests in fact have broken out across the country as well. We believe that protests have broken out in Kolkata as well. My colleague Suryagni Roy is in fact bringing us those visuals from Kolkata. Suryagni, take it over.
We are over here at Park Circus, and there's a huge gathering by the Muslim community. I'll ask my camera person to just pan and show you of the ground situation over here. There's a huge gathering, but what we need to understand over here is that this is a very, it's a very well-maintained crowd. They are protesting against Nupur Sharma. They want that the law should take its course. Now, this protest is completely in contrast with what we saw yesterday, where a major ruckus had blocked National Highway that connected Kolkata with rest of the other districts. What we'll do is we'll try and speak to some of the people over here. Sir, एक चीज जानना चाहेंगे एक बार कि आखिर आप लोगों का डिमांड क्या कहेंगे? So there are many people over here. What we'd like to speak. See, there's a huge gathering. There's a huge gathering over here. People are assembled. It's a pretty well-maintained crowd, and what we do need to understand over here that this is happening over the comments of Nupur Sharma. Nupur Sharma had commented on Prophet Mohammad. Yesterday we saw a different kind of a protest where the crowd went unruly. This crowd over here is a very well-maintained, crowd, as you can see over here. This is Park Circus, a prime area. One thing that I request my camera camera person to pan and show you that it's being done in one side of the road. The traffic movement is happening. That is something that is, extremely important, especially after yesterday's ruckus that we had seen at National Highway, which had blocked the major part of the National Highway for a long time. यहाँ पे जो लोग देख रहे हैं, यहाँ पे वेल मेंटेन्ड अगर कहे तो इसको कह सकते हैं कि ये जगह वेल मेंटेन्ड एक क्राउड है। 7 पॉइंट बहुत ही प्राइम लोकेशन है कोलकाता का, पार्क सर्कस का। और यहाँ पर ही जो कम्युनिटी के लोग जो यहाँ पे जो बात कर रहे हैं वो यही कह रहे हैं कि नुपुर शर्मा को लीगली उनको टैकल करना होगा, उनको लीगली उनको अरेस्ट करना होगा, लेकिन कोई रकस यहाँ पे क्रिएट नहीं कर सकते। ऐसा ही दावा यहाँ पे जो स्पीकर्स हैं, जो कम्युनिटी यहाँ पे प्रोटेस्ट कर रही है, जो यहाँ के नेतागण हैं, वो सभी यही कह रहे हैं। मैं कहूँगा मेरे कैमरा पर्सन को दिखाने के लिए इस पूरे जगह को कि यहाँ पे कितनी भीड़ हो चुकी है। लार्ज गैदरिंग कह सकते हैं इसको। लेकिन एक चीज़ जो हम बार बार कह रहे हैं कि कल जहाँ पर हमने देखा था कि क्राउड अनरूली हो गया था, यहाँ पे जो गैदरिंग है बहुत ही शांत तरीके से यहाँ पे प्रोटेस्ट कंटिन्यूअसली हो रहा है और यहाँ पे भीड़ काफी ज्यादा है। एक चीज मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा हमारे कैमरा पर्सन को दिखाने के लिए, वहां पे पोस्टर्स हैं, अरेस्ट नुपुर शर्मा, मास प्रोटेस्ट अरेस्ट नुपुर शर्मा, वहां पे पोस्टर्स लेके लोग खड़े हैं। ममता बनर्जी ने भी कहा है कि नुपुर शर्मा के खिलाफ, एक तो उन्होंने ट्वीट किया, कहा कि नुपुर शर्मा को अरेस्ट कर लेना चाहिए, और उसके बाद कल उन्होंने ये भी कहा कि पुलिस कंप्लेंट किया जाए नुपुर शर्मा के खिलाफ पश्चिम बंगाल के बहुत सारे जगहों पर, ताकि उनको लीगली नुपुर को टैकल किया जाए। वो प्रोटेस्ट है, वो आप देख सकते हैं, मास प्रोटेस्ट अरेस्ट नुपुर शर्मा। इन लोगों का जो दावा है वो सिंपल है कि नुपुर शर्मा को जल्द से जल्द अरेस्ट कर लिया जाए। नुपुर शर्मा को बीजेपी के तरफ से ऑलरेडी हटाया जा चुका है, लेकिन दावा ये है, उन पे केस भी फिलहाल चल रहा है, एफआईआर में भी उनका नाम आ चुका है। और लेकिन यहाँ पे जो लोग चाहते हैं कि नुपुर को अरेस्ट किया जाए, क्योंकि उन्होंने जो कमेंट किया है उससे इन लोगों को, मुसलमान संप्रदाय को बहुत चोट लगी है, जो चोट पहुंची है। मैं कहूँगा विजुअल्स दिखाने के लिए मेरे कैमरा पर्सन को। और यहाँ पर पार्क सर्कस बहुत ही प्राइम लोकेशन है, लेकिन एक चीज़ हमें समझनी होगी कि यहाँ पे जो लोग यहाँ पे हैं, ये क्राउड बहुत ही मेंटेन्ड एक क्राउड है, क्योंकि कल हमने जो देखा था वहाँ पे लोगों ने रकस क्रिएट कर लिया, और उसके बाद करीबन 11 घंटे हाईवे ब्लॉक था। और लेकिन आज यहाँ पर दिखाएंगे कि ये एक साइड में हो रहा है, और यहाँ पर कुछ ही देर पहले यहाँ पे ये प्रोटेस्ट शुरू हुआ है। एक बार बात करने की कोशिश करें, क्या दावा क्या है, मांग क्या है?
मांग क्या है? ये जो सब मामला आ रहा है इसको रोका जाए। कैसे रुकेगा? गवर्नमेंट को चाहिए इसको रोकना। किसी का मजहबी मामला पे बोलने नहीं चाहिए। मुसलमान तो किसी को कुछ बोल नहीं रहे, तो फिर वो कैसे बोल रहे हैं?
नुपुर शर्मा की अरेस्ट की मांग की जा रही है।
नुपुर शर्मा का अरेस्ट से मसला हल नहीं होगा। ये हल उसी वक्त होगा कि तमाम ऐसे लोगों को बैंड किया जाए।
ये इन्होंने जो कहा कि सिर्फ नुपुर को अरेस्ट करने से कुछ नहीं होगा, जो लोग ऐसे कमेंट्स करते हैं उनको अरेस्ट कर लिया जाए, यही डिमांड है इन लोगों का। कोलकाता का ये विजुअल्स है, एक बार दिखाएंगे कि कोलकाता के पार्क सर्कस के 7 पॉइंट पे फिलहाल क्या स्थिति है और यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे बहुत सारे लोगों की भीड़ है।
You can see protests that have broken out across the country after Friday prayers. Members of the Muslim minority community, they're protesting and demanding action, police action against Nupur Sharma and Naveen Kumar Jindal for their statements and remarks against Prophet Mohammad. Visuals on your screen from the national capital as well as Kolkata's Park Circus. I'm taking it across to my colleague Simar Chawla now, who's joining us live from Kanpur as well. Kanpur is also, in fact, witnessing some protests. Remember, there were communal clashes very recently in Kanpur, and the situation has been extremely tense. Simar, if you can take us through what's happening around you at the moment. Over to you.
Well, Polemy, this is a site of relief for the Kanpur administration as the prayers of Friday have been offered. The people are coming out in large numbers and the situation is quite normal on the ground. If I could just request my camera person to show you in the visuals that, I'm standing outside a masjid and the people have actually come up here. They are just, requesting people to go, not to create a lot of a crowd here, just keeping in mind the situation that has been prevailing in Kanpur since last Friday. Let me just, go across and try to talk to some of the people. क्या नाम है आपका?
हाँ जी, दिलशाद अहमद कुरैशी।
दिलशाद जी, आप आए हैं, आज फ्राइडे की प्रेयर्स भी हुई है। मैंने देखा अभी आप थोड़ी देर पहले लोगों को बोल रहे थे कि यहाँ से आगे जाइए। क्या माहौल आप बनाने में कोशिश कर रहे हैं पूरा जो शहर का?
ये शहर गणेश शंकर विद्यार्थी और हसरत मोहनी का शहर है। यहाँ वक्ती नाराजगी तो हो सकती है, लेकिन दिलों में मोहब्बत बहुत कायम है। जो कुछ पिछले जुमे को हुआ था, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह एक हफ्ते के अंदर हम हिंदू मुसलमान भाइयों में फिर तो वही भाईचारा, वही जिंदगी रफ्तार में आ चुकी है।
तो आपको लगता है कि आज जो है माहौल शांत है, लोगों को आपने समझाया?
इंशाअल्लाह आज भी और हमेशा आगे भी माहौल शांत रहेगा और लोगों को नमाज पढ़ के हम घर जाने की सलाह दे रहे हैं। सब अपने घर जा रहे हैं, अपने कारोबार करेंगे और अपने जीवन व्यतीत करेंगे खुशियों से।
Well, there you heard, Polemy, that the people are requesting other people to go their homes and start their business and, to bring the situation back to normal. Now, this is a very sensitive area where I'm standing at. I can show you in the visual, this is the Yatim Khana Chowki, which was burned by the rioters in the CAA and NRC protests. Now, keeping in mind the sensitivity of the situation, you can see that the RAF has been deployed here. Police personnel are standing here in this very particular area. There is another company which has been sitting there. Cars of the firefighters vehicles, they are also deployed here. Heavy force have been deployed just to keep in mind the situation. Last Friday the riots broke out between two community, and after which we have been seeing that the police since the morning have been patrolling in the roads. They have been keeping a good vigil from the roofs through CCTVs, through drones and through cameras. But as far as today's situation is concerned, it's quite normal here.
Right. Simar there, of course, reporting from Kanpur. As you can see, visuals and pictures there from both Kolkata and in Delhi, where protests, in fact, have started after Friday prayers, where members of the Muslim minority community have come out demanding action against Nupur Sharma and Naveen Kumar Jindal. Peaceful protests over there. The cops, of course, are on alert and standing on ground in order to ensure that the situation doesn't escalate, because this has been a very sensitive issue. And Kanpur, for instance, from where Simar was reporting earlier as well, has been extremely tense, has witnessed communal clashes as well, which were allegedly linked to the statements that Nupur Sharma made against Prophet Mohammad as well. So the police, of course, has been on high alert because of today being a Friday and large numbers of the Muslim minority community stepping out to go to mosque in order to offer namaz as well. And as you can see over there, protests that are happening. And those pictures right now coming in from Saharanpur in Uttar Pradesh, as you can see again, protests which are happening, demanding action against Nupur Sharma and Naveen Kumar Jindal of the Bharatiya Janata Party, recently removed from the party. Nupur Sharma suspended from the party pending further inquiry. Naveen Kumar Jindal expelled from the party as well. Those protesters there raising slogans demanding strict action against these two BJP leaders who in fact were removed recently from their positions and the responsibilities that they in fact had assigned to them inside the Bharatiya Janata Party. Nupur Sharma, of course, was the national spokesperson of the party, and she, of course, has claimed that in the wake of the outrage that has happened, she has been facing threats. Those visuals on your screens right now, viewers, from Lucknow. Protests that have broken out in Lucknow. So we're getting you several images at the moment of protests which have broken out across the country. Images coming in from Delhi, from Kolkata, from Kanpur as well, where members of the Muslim minority community have gathered in order to raise their voices against the derogatory remarks made against Prophet Mohammad. Images from Saharanpur in Uttar Pradesh, and now Uttar Pradesh's capital, Lucknow. Those images on your screen from Lucknow of protests, and large numbers of these protesters who are, of course, raising slogans and demanding action against Nupur Sharma and Naveen Kumar Jindal. Remember, multiple FIRs have been, in fact, registered against Nupur Sharma in Delhi, in Mumbai, in Pune, in Hyderabad as well. She, in fact, has, received summons from the Mumbai police as well to come down to Mumbai and record her statement on June 22nd. It remains to be seen if Nupur Sharma will in fact go to Mumbai to record her statement, but cases that have been lodged in Mumbai's Paiduni and in Mumbra, in Thane as well, in Pune as well, Hyderabad and in Delhi as well, where the Delhi police in fact lodged an FIR against several persons who they believe have stoked communal passions with their remarks and statements on social media, on TV debates and otherwise as well, which includes also AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi, who's hit out at the Delhi police and claimed that the Delhi police doesn't even mention in the FIR what exactly is his crime and which speech of his or tweet of his was construed as hate speech. Pictures of those protests now from Saharanpur on your screens, viewers, that have broken out after the remarks made by Nupur Sharma in a TV debate over Prophet Mohammad. Remember, Nupur Sharma faced immediate backlash on social media because of her statements that she made about Prophet Mohammad while she was engaged in a heated televised debate with another panelist. And immediately afterwards, there was in fact backlash, diplomatic backlash as well, that the government of India faced from countries like Qatar, from Kuwait, from Iran, and our envoys being summoned, but India of course categorically stating, the BJP of course through a press release, and India through its envoys categorically stating that the BJP believes in inclusiveness, the BJP believes in equality of all religions and doesn't support or stand by any of the statements that have been made by Nupur Sharma or Naveen Kumar Jindal. And to prove that, BJP in fact took action against their leaders as well. Nupur Sharma removed and suspended pending further inquiry, and Naveen Kumar Jindal, who was the BJP's Delhi unit media cell head, he in fact was expelled from the party. But members of the Muslim minority community demanding stricter action, they want these leaders in fact to be arrested and taken to task for their statements. They are not quite satisfied with the action that the Bharatiya Janata Party has taken against them, and of course the FIRs that have been lodged against them. Nupur Sharma of course has been summoned by the Mumbai police on June 22nd in relation to her statements against Prophet Mohammad on a TV debate. The Delhi police has also lodged an FIR against her, similar FIRs in Pune and Hyderabad that have been lodged against Nupur Sharma as well, who of course has been claiming that she has been receiving threats from all quarters since those statements were made in a TV debate. Pictures that you see, viewers, on your screen now from Jama Masjid in the national capital, one of the largest mosques. It sees large numbers of Muslims in fact reach the mosque to offer Friday prayers. In fact, them stepping out of the mosque and raising slogans after the Friday prayers, demanding action against Nupur Sharma and Naveen Kumar Jindal, saying that their inflammatory statements have hurt their sentiments, their religious sentiments, and they should be taken to task for the same. Images there from Saharanpur, from Jama Masjid, from Kolkata as well. Kolkata's Park Circus, again a very posh central part of Kolkata, where protests have in fact broken out. Members over there of the Muslim community raising slogans as well. My colleague Amit Bhardwaj is now joining me live from Jama Masjid in Delhi. Amit, give us a sense of what's happening around you at the moment.
Well, Paulami, the situation outside Jama Masjid is a bit volatile right now. The law and order, in order to maintain law and order situation in the area, the Delhi police officials as well as the Aman committee members are up on their toes, and they are moving around in the locality, making sure that no further protest or rallies or sort of march are carried out in the area. And along with that, the media personnel have been also asked to clear out the area. We have been asked to, move away from the Jama Masjid complex. So clearly we are in a lane which is a few hundred meters away from the Jama Masjid area. And there are individuals from the community who are, also speaking to the media, expressing as to what happened. Paulami will also try to speak to them. Sir, किस तरह का protest हुआ है?
बेसिकली यहाँ कोई प्रोटेस्ट नहीं है. यहाँ सिर्फ और सिर्फ जनता ये चाहती है कि
कानून के दायरे में जिस तरीके से बीजेपी ने एक्शन लिया है और ऐसे लोगों को बाहर निकाला है जो हुजूर की शान में गुस्ताखी कर रहे थे, बस उन लोगों के खिलाफ कानूनी कार्रवाई हो। सिर्फ और सिर्फ लोग यहाँ पर इसलिए ही प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि हमारा कानून।
में लोग इकट्ठा हुए थे, क्या कोई कॉल था, इसको प्लान्ड कॉल था इस प्रोटेस्ट को लेकर?
देखिए, जब से नुपुर शर्मा ने ये विवादित बयान दिया है तब से ही लोग आक्रोश में हैं और उनका आक्रोश जायज है, क्योंकि किसी भी कम्युनिटी को आप ठेस पहुंचाएंगे या उनके भावनाओं से खेलेंगे या उनको भड़काएंगे तो सीधी सी बात है, कोई भी रिलीजन का हो जो उसको फॉलो करता हो वो उस पर एक्शन जरूर लेगा। और हमारी जो कम्युनिटी है वो पीसफुल एक्शन लेना चाहती है, वो स्वागत करती है बीजेपी का जिस तरीके से उन्होंने उनको बाहर निकाला प्रवक्ता को, मगर अब वो इंतजार कर रही है कि कब इनके खिलाफ कानूनी कार्रवाई हो और वो अरेस्ट हो। पूरे हिंदुस्तान के अंदर।
नाम क्या है सर?
मेरा नाम है मोहम्मद सलमान कुरैशी।
सलमान, एफआईआर दर्ज हो गई है ना? 2 एफआईआर दर्ज हुई है नुपुर शर्मा पे, एक महाराष्ट्र में एक दिल्ली में, और उनके बयानबाजी के वजह से एफआईआर दर्ज हुई है। एक और एफआईआर दर्ज हुई है जिसमें विवादित बयान, कम्युनल जो कमेंट्स होते हैं उस पे, हेट स्पीच पे क्रैकडाउन करने के लिए। तो क्या एफआईआर काफी नहीं है? अब आप लोग क्या एक्शन डिमांड कर रहे हैं?
अगर सपोज दैट किसी के ऊपर एफआईआर होती है, आप ये देखें कि अगर किसी के पास एफआईआर होती है तो उसको पूछताछ किया जाता है नहीं, उसको अरेस्ट किया जाता है या नहीं?
पूरा ड्यू प्रोसेस
आप ये देखें कि एफआईआर होने के बाद जो एक्शन लेना चाहिए क्या वो हुआ है? ये आपसे सवाल है। मैं मीडिया सवाल करती है, हमारा मीडिया से सवाल है कि जो उन्होंने जो भी काम किया है, जो भी आपत्तिजनक टिप्पणी की है, जो मुसलमानों को भड़काने के लिए उन्होंने, आप देख रहे देश का क्या माहौल हो गया, क्या माहौल है आप देश का देखें। आप इस वक्त में लोगों के पास कारोबार नहीं है।
महाराष्ट्र पुलिस ने जैसे समन भेजा है, दिल्ली पुलिस ने कल ही एफआईआर दर्ज की थी, इस वक्त मांग क्या है कि इमीडिएट अरेस्ट हो, ये मांग है आप लोगों की?
सीधी सी बात है भाई, कोई भी कम्युनिटी, हम तो कहते हैं इंसानियत के खिलाफ कोई भी हेट स्पीच करता है उसको आप फौरी तौर पर अरेस्ट करें। इससे नुपुर शर्मा से क्या हुआ है? इसने लोगों को हवा दी है कि भी आप भी गलत कर सकते हो।
ठीक है, सामाजिक सौहार्द।
हाँ, आप भी गलत कर सकते।
इसका नाम क्या है? So, Polemy, today what we had seen was, hundreds and hundreds of angry crowd on the stairs of Jama Masjid. They were sloganeering, and they were sloganeering against the comments that were made by former BJP leader Nupur Sharma, as well as Naveen Kumar Jindal. And what we are learning from our sources, from the Aman committee members, from the Delhi police officials who are still on the spot, I'll ask Ankit to show you the visuals as to how the Aman committee members are still on the ground along with the Delhi police officials. So protest was organized, they have dispersed right now, but the situation is still volatile on the ground. Over to you, Polemy.
Okay, so the protest was organized, but those protesters have dispersed is what you tell.